Right, it's time for the paper review now. So many headlines catching one's attention this morning on the papers in Nigeria. Yeah. We have joining us in the studio senior lecturer from the University of Lagos, Dr. Dan Ekere, joining us right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Let's begin with the Punch newspaper this morning. Benue killings. Senate summons IG over failure to arrest suspects. Remember the 14-day ultimatum?
Yeah.
Whereafter killer herdsmen, Buhari tells Senate. And killings by herdsmen sign of sick security system. That's the Speaker, Dogara, is saying that. And 7 killed in Boko. Governor Otom imposes curfew.
Yeah, still the same issues of insecurity and the killings, and the police seem not to be on top of the game this time around. I expected that by now, at least, especially considering the fact that there were even allegations that a particular body was, would have a hand in this. I expected that at least some people should have been...
There was an outburst from a member of the group. Good. Giving reason for the killing.
You should, at least I expected that by now they would have picked up some persons for interrogation and the rest of it, which perhaps might even lead to, the revelation that we are expecting. But in any case, different, statements have pointed to the fact that this group is against the bill that is trying to prohibit open grazing. And it will be out of place, really, for them to do the kind of things we are talking about. But it's not likely that they are the only ones who are into all these killings. Don't forget that opportunities like this will create room for others who want to, just launch into it.
We are seeing a new dimension now where youths or bandits or people within themselves are arming themselves and taking it out on people who they suspect are Fulani people. That's what happened in Boko, where some young guys who they saw and felt these are Fulani people, whether they are innocent or they were linked to whatever happened in the past or not, pounced on them, killed and burnt them alive.
Yeah, their crime is simply that they are Fulanis. That's what you can say in this instance.
So it's a dangerous dimension
very
of
dangerous.
things.
It's a very dangerous trend. And that is a failure of the state. You see, because if the state was able to take care of the security challenges, and perhaps some persons brought to book by now.
By state, federal government or state government?
But, security, security is almost entirely the federal responsibility. It's just by name that the states have something to do with it.
Just for clarity.
Yes, it is the federal government that is actually in charge of security. You can call governors chief security officers without portfolio because the real security is in the hands of the federal government. If by now some persons were actually arrested and there were maybe interrogations or confessions suggesting that the police is actually on top of the game, you will find that kind of situation. But the people have taken to self-help because so far the government has not shown that it was actually out to protect them.
Especially when you deduce from Governor Tom's statement when he said the federal government has abandoned us.
So, but really, it was a case of abandonment.
Exactly.
Because it took so long, it took the serious opera, from practically every corner of the country.
Before the federal government seemed to be reacting.
It was like that.
In fact, that
Boko Haram kidnap of those Chibok girls at the beginning, where the former president was still wondering whether it was true
or not,
whether some people were trying to play some, some kind of game. That's the kind of situation we find.
Even the bold statement made by the former Northern Elders Forum chairman, Paul Ndongo, that if the government did not do anything, that they would resort to self-help.
But you don't expect less than that. You can't continue to allow yourself to be killed. You need to, you must protect yourself one way or the other. So, for as long as the government is not prepared to protect the people will take laws into their hands and want to protect themselves. Because it is a responsibility.
Yeah, we have to move on now. Federal government will prepare supplementary budget for wage increase. Akabo is saying this, and this is a fallout of the issue of the fact that they're talking about minimum wage. It hasn't been captured in the 2018 budget. And so if there is no supplementary budget, then there can't be minimum wage.
But certainly they've not concluded on the minimum wage. So you can't be budgeting for something you don't know yet. At the moment, what would they budget? Supposing they even say, okay, let's budget some amount. What if it is still below? So at the end, you must agree on what it is. You do your calculations before you present your figures to the National Assembly for approval. And you can always go for environment. That is not a difficult challenge, for as long as it is something that both parties have agreed to. it will be sorted out. So I have no problem with, you know, how it will come to be and all the rest. My only fear is whether that committee will be able to sort out things, and the federal government, the state governments will agree that truly this should be the takeoff point in terms of minimum wage.
Well, they are all represented anyway.
Yeah, they are always represented, but even till now, so many states are yet to pay, you know, the minimum wage.
Exactly. Yes. We're running a bastardized federal structure, says Oyegun, that's the chairman of APC. NJC declares Abia Chief Judge's suspension illegal, and we're afraid 2019 elections may not be credible. PDP is saying that. And the last one here, Senate to probe ex-JAM registrars for poor remittances.
Yeah, but the one of, you know, the warped federalism that we are running, which the chairman of the APC, you know, mentioned, it doesn't seem to me that there's any seriousness in that statement. It doesn't seem to me that there's sincerity in the statement, because isn't it that you just get to realize that that's the situation we are? You know, I see that as, you know, part of the strategies for 2019. Even the committee of the APC, on the restructuring and unfortunately, it was even led by a man like El-Rufai, who has no belief in restructuring. Who has
always been against
restructuring. You get it? So perhaps they have come to the realization that, look, you need to lead this team to tell the people that you are now a change person on this issue of restructuring in order for us to gain higher ground in 2019. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, by now, if they really meant anything about restructuring, it's something you can start doing from your own domain, the states. So many of the states are not even organizing elections for local governments. And you are talking about restructuring through federalism and what have you, when within your enclave you've not been able to show any sense of belief. Commitment. You have commitment to that particular
Some didn't appoint commissioners for a long while.
I doubt if Oyegun is serious.
Okay, so we go to the Nation newspaper. The major story here, Buhari to Senate, I have acted on Benue killings. President writes Senate. Let me quote one of the excerpts of the letter. To infer, therefore, that nothing has been done is incorrect. The police are strenuously working to apprehend the rest of the culprits of these heartless killings. Many people would say that it is one thing to be doing something and to be seen to be across board. It is another thing to appear to be so. That it's not just taking action, but to be seen as...
That is why in legal parlance it's always said that it's not just that justice should be done, it should be seen to be done. Yes. Exactly. Now, we are not feeling it. We are not seeing it, you know. Especially the mere fact that it took so long before the federal government even decided to think about it is enough for people to begin to discredit the system. But, however, let's hope that something will be done this time around. I understood the Senate is summoning the IG yes. for you know, questioning over the situation of the Benue killings, no arrests and all of that. Let's hope that something will be done this time around. But however, we need to be proactive. We must always give confidence, you know, to the people that there is security, so that people can go about their normal business. This idea of, you know, people having fears as to whether they will be able to go to their farms and the rest. We are talking about, you know, self-sustenance in terms of food and all the rest. It is really challenging.
All right, so moving ahead, governors, senators clash over 2019 polls. And it seems so really because governors, for example, a senator from Zamfara State, Kabiru Marafa, is accusing Governor Yari of plotting his assassination on one side. And then in Kano State, we know that there is a rift between the governor, Ganduje, and Kwakwanso, former governor. And that was what was raised by Senator Misal on the floor of the Senate, that this shouldn't be happening for the sake of security.
Why shouldn't that be happening? The issue of people showing their interests, their different interests.
Because some youths were wielding weapons in the Kano State, so they had to...
The dimension is taking.
That has always been the dimension. That has always been the dimension. Have you forgotten the Niger Delta militants of a thing? It wasn't all about, you know, the environmental issues. Don't forget that some of those arms were eventually used for political games. All right? So you can't say it is new. It's not. It's certainly not new. Politicians have always made effort to equip their so-called, you know, strongholds, both, you know, in terms of arms and all the rest, in order to, you know, gain ground or higher ground, if you like, to win elections. So it's not new. What we should be saying now is that how competent are the security agencies to deal with the situation? That is the greatest challenge we're having. We do not have enough manpower. We do not have enough equipment. even the few equipment they have, I don't know if they equally have the...
They are not well paid.
That is another problem.
Yeah.
Motivation is not there and all the rest. So how do you expect total commitment to their responsibilities? That is what we are talking about, not a question of whether there is a new strategy of people. I mean, it has always been. That has been the kind of politics we play. And I will tell you that those who even seek political offices are not actually doing that with a view to serving the people. Okay. Because why will you want to arm people in order to get to a position of service, if truly service is the name or the word?
Exactly.
All right, before we move on quickly, this picture on the front page of The Nation is quite a sad view. The destroyed truck head that plunged into Kara River yesterday. A boy, 3 others were killed in the process, and some got injured. Very sad.
So
indeed,
bad.
because the container
Really
fell
sad,
on them.
yeah. All right, let's move to the Daily Sun now. Headlines here still on Benue. Senate summons IG. And as Buhari faults senators' position on killings, lawmakers demand defense minister's resignation. This is taking new dimension. But another headline here says, cabal in government, Buhari's biggest problem. Isisage is saying that, and nothing will work until they are dismantled. This cabal,
is talking again.
This question
but the
cabal,
point is,
cabal,
the personality of someone like Isisage, Professor Sage, he makes a statement like that, no one is going to wish it away.
Yeah, but how are we too sure that Sage is not part of the cabal? When you say cabal, who are they? Who are the people? Because in a way, Sage has presented himself as a form of cabal. All right? That he was defending things that are ordinarily defensible. What else do cabals do? Is it not? So the question of cabal is not the issue. You see, there could be a cabal, and there will always be a cabal. You see, but what is critical is that we should have the kind of leadership that is focused, because cabal will not stop you from doing the right thing if only you have the idea of what the right thing is and you are committed to doing the right thing. You know, cabal will always struggle for their own benefits, for as long as you settle those interests, because those interests were part of the interests that actually brought you into power. So they must, one way or the other, be settled. And until you do that, you will never have, you know, the peaceful environment to operate. So you need to do that.
Okay. One other interesting headline: Coalition for Nigeria launched, unveils rescue agenda. Nigeria must be saved from explosion. Oyinlola is saying that. Now, we all have heard of the third force. That is...
Well, I wouldn't know if that is the coalition the former president...
yeah, exactly. Olusegun
Obasanjo was referring to. And I don't know how strong the coalition is. I don't know his own level of support for that coalition. But so far, there seems to be some interest in that coalition. I don't know if he's equally behind the coalition. Now, but the point is that if he has a hand in that coalition, obviously it is just going to be one of the same. Because we are looking at a kind of a team or a party that will be made of this so-called generation we are talking about, people of that generation that have shown that truly they have not only the ideas, but that they have the integrity to bring those ideas to pass.
In fact, that was the impression many Nigerians got from that letter when he said there was need for coalition.
Yeah, but from all indication, that coalition might be working with him. The same people you are trying to remove are the ones that you are eventually consulting. They might end up being the ones who bankroll your campaign. And at the end of the day, this issue of cabal will come back to play. So we must find a way of, you know, dealing with this situation in such a way that people will see that truly, in a transparent manner, there is a coalition of a generation that is committed to bringing to pass the kind of Nigeria that we all look forward to. But again, I ask myself a number of times, who are those people that even the politicians use for snatching of ballot boxes and the rest? Is it the old men and the old women? It's the same youth, you right? So I've not seen a kind of leadership that has actually instilled in this youth the confidence that they will need to have for them not to do those, you know, evil of elections, of snatching of ballot boxes, stuffing of ballot papers into, you know, ballot boxes.
Was they benefiting from their ignorance?
It's not. Is it really a question of ignorance? It's a case of They know what to do. It's just the kind level of poverty in the land. You must survive.
But
Somebody who is here to get what to eat.
Yeah, but one would think that at this point we should be talking about ideology, talking about teaching young, like you talk, young people about how to have passion in the system itself, in the political party.
And I doubt if you can do that social engineering within this short time and get to power in 2019. It should be something of building consciousness.
Over time.
Yes. So once you've been able to do that, you will see that genuinely that change will come seamlessly. It will be something that you will be fighting, bribing people.
It will catch fire like the Arab Spring.
You saw what happened, in 1993. People tend to create the impression that it was the option A4 that brought about that election. Nigerians were fully committed to the change that took place there. There was a so they were prepared to sacrifice anything.
So
even if you
whether it was option A4 or not,
option A20 or anything,
it was going to work.
Because people were fed up with the military.
Okay, so we'll go quickly now to the Vanguard newspaper. The major story, killing of 7, Governor Otom slams curfew on Boko, says Buhari has not done enough to stop killings in Benue. We don't trust Buhari, Benue tribal leaders. Buhari writes Senate says it's untrue to say I haven't done enough. So we'll leave that since we touched it before. We go to the top of the masthead. APC PDP chieftains flood launch of Obasanjo's third force. Well, FG not paying subsidy to marketers at Dioshun assures of increase in excess crude account. I thought we already established that it was NNPC that was paying the subsidy that wasn't made
it wasn't the government. It was NNPC. Who is NNPC?
Where was he getting the money from exactly?
I mean, are we saying that NNPC, because a while ago there was the issue of the vice president signing, whether it was a contract, whether it was a loan, that issue just died down like that, And meanwhile, when it was during Sanusi's time and Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, there was that serious stress on, is it 10 billion, that later reduced to some other amount of money and all of that. Now, we didn't follow that to the end. Here again, somebody is still telling us that the federal government is not paying subsidy. And you've confirmed to the whole country that you bring in these products at the landed cost of 170 something.
1 naira.
And you are selling it for 145. And then I listened to the chairman of those depots, whatever, that nobody has paid subsidy to them. Must it be paid to you before you become subsidy? Now, somebody has brought in a product for 170 something. And you are selling it for 145. It means that it was sold to you. Not just that, because the man who is selling at 145 is only making profit.
Absolutely.
So it means that he must have bought below 145. And the man who brought it in at 170 something. And you are saying that no subsidy is being paid. Nigerian money is being thrown away somewhere. It doesn't matter who it is paid to. This is not benefiting the people. Some persons are still smiling to the bank. So the idea of government is not paying, it's NNPC that is paying, or PPMC or whatever.
Someone is paying.
Someone is being paid. Someone is being paid.
And the person that is paying ultimately is the Nigerian public.
All right, so another one. As Cameroon boils, separatist fighters turn refugees. And this is the follow-up to the story that, of course, was also on the front pages of some of the national dailies yesterday, that Cameroonian gendarmes invaded a community in our own country, Cross River State, to attack some of their own citizens. They said fled to the community. Yeah,
but that will equally tell you how porous our borders are, and there's still the same challenge of security. You see, the kind of security architecture we have today, it is absolutely difficult, if not impossible, to police this country adequately. So until you are able to, restructure that architecture, this question of state police that we'll be talking about, until that is brought to play, you will hardly be able to provide adequate security for this country. Now, if, for instance, the state was to be in charge of its own security, I'm sure, apart from creating jobs, more jobs, you will find out that some of these, problems that ordinarily would have been taken, would have been overcome. Absolutely. But as it stands today, where you have to wait for the IG to deploy men from Abuja or wherever, in some cases, we might not even have good information about the terrain, then you will continue to have this challenge. Yeah, but it's equally a very dangerous trend that people from another country can just, overrun communities in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's really annoying.
Well, that is that. Now, this day certainly will be just touched. NIA Director's Right House say new DG is a misfit. Sack the cabal in your cabinet now, Sage tells President. The federal government blames constrained oil output for stagnant ECA. And it's untrue. I have not acted on Benue killings. Buhari tells Senate lists steps he's taking to end conflict, improve security, and Otom imposes curfew on Boko after mob kills 7 herdsmen. Thank you.
So with that, we wrap it up.
Dr.
Danekere, lecturer Unilag, thank you as always for coming and to review some of the stories with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.